I'm Robin Gagnon.
And I'm Eric Gagnon, and we sell restaurants. We started the nation's largest restaurant brokerage firm, We Sell Restaurants, over a decade ago. You can find us online at WeSellRestaurants.com.
And we're on the radio once a week with the leading authorities in this industry talking about subjects that are trending in the restaurant business. Tweet your own questions on our topics while we're on the air to our Twitter handle, Sell Restaurants, or post on our Facebook page, facebook.com/WeSellRestaurants. If we don't get to your question live, we'll get to it on social media.
Our goal is to satisfy your appetite for acquisition, feed the need for restaurant reality, and serve up a recipe for business success. If you have ideas for our show or comments, email me. My email is eric, E-R-I-C, at WeSellRestaurants.com. Today's show, we're going to be talking about the restaurants and social media.
You know, in this day and age, it is so very important for companies to have an online presence. We've talked in previous shows about how the millennials are the most sought-after demographic because of that connection to digital and social media. Well, today we're going to have interviews with some of the top social media experts in the restaurant industry. We're going to talk about this topic, how it's changing the ways restaurants market. We're also going to cover successful marketing strategies used to reach various demographics and how operators can measure that success. And while social media is getting all the buzz and is often communicated with a smartphone, we cannot have this discussion without a focus on email marketing. Email, as of September of this year, is now read more on a mobile device than on a desktop. So when those folks are carrying their phones around, they're reading email as well.
Our first guest today is Matt White. Matt White is the founder of MyRestaurantPost.com. Matt loves getting the chance to talk with people about restaurant and social media, and it says it's his passion. Matt loves sharing his knowledge of social media and often restaurant owners and managers grasp the full potential that social media has to offer. Matt lives and breathes online marketing and social media for restaurants. His company, MyRestaurantPost.com, provides daily engaging Facebook posts for restaurants.
Also joining us today is Sean Christie. Sean has a passion for driving online buzz combined with almost 20 years of marketing experience. Christie Creative LLC is a full-service social media marketing agency created by Sean himself. With the success the company has been having in the food and beverage industry, he made the decision to launch a separate brand, Eat, Drink, Promote. Since its inception in 2010, hundreds of companies have turned to Sean for his expertise in crafting strategic social media messaging that builds brands and garners results. His work has been featured in Inside Business Magazine, Smart Business Magazine, Macworld Magazine, Computer World Magazine, the Aiken Beacon Journal, and the Young Professional Roadmap. Sean has spoken to groups all over the country on the topic of driving revenue with the incredible power of social media, including the North American Pizza and Ice Cream Show, as well as the Florida Restaurant and Lodging Show for the past 2 years.
And lastly, we're also joined by Jim Hamilton of InTouch Dining. Jim is a 35-year veteran in the technology field and developed one of the first loyalty-based initiatives in the country. Jim operates InTouchDining.com and NetMasons, which provides services and tools for restaurant marketing, including full-service email marketing, web development, social media consulting, and services that has an SEO team to drive traffic to your web initiatives.
We're starting off the show today with Matt White from My Restaurant Post. We asked Matt to weigh in on the social media trends, strategies, and statistics. Here's what he had to say.
My name is Matt White. I own a company called My Restaurant Post. We do mostly Facebook accounts, Facebook management for restaurants. So basically what we do is for $99 a month, we help a restaurant by managing and posting to their Facebook page every single day. A lot of that is more than just driving people into their store from a hey, come out tonight, or buy one, get one, hey, come out tonight because it's Tuesday burger night, hey, come out tonight for this and this and this. I'm trying to make it more engaging and go beyond just selling all the time into trying to engage and try to get a connection with that audience.
Now, we sat in on your seminar, and one thing that you went through was like the number of posts you should have per day and how many of those should be sort of self-serving versus how many should be sort of informational. So I think that's something our audience would love to hear a little bit more about. So can you take them through those statistics?
Great question. Yeah, a lot of times people focus 90% or more on selling themselves, doing their own thing, talking about their own product, talking about their own place. What we try to do is take them way back from that, because really what people want to know is what's going on in the world, what's happening in general, how you connect with people, that kind of thing. So what we try to do, we broke it down by 622, and basically the idea there is 6 of every 10 posts that you do should almost have nothing to do with your restaurant exactly. So we talk about what's the latest movie coming out, did you get the latest iPhone, today's a food holiday, celebrate National Chocolate Day, and that kind of stuff, to really just posts then are related to you, but not necessarily selling. So you could have a picture of your chef and talk about, hey, have you met Chef Mike? He's excited to be here. He's new to our staff or something like that. So it's related to the restaurant, but it's not necessarily selling. And then the last two, which is roughly 20% of what you're doing out there, it becomes a sales message where you're actually saying, come out tonight for our burger night, that kind of thing. What happens is on those 6 to 8 of the things that aren't really trying to sell, you tend to get more engagement. People like things, they'll comment on things, they'll share them. And the more you get that engagement on those types of posts, more likely they are then to show up whenever you do put something out there where you're trying to get them to actually come into the restaurant. So we try to get that more of the engagement factor as opposed to selling all the time, because people just get turned off and they'll end up hiding you or ignoring you altogether.
One interesting thing I want to talk to you about too, regarding that, we heard a lot about engagement. That seems to be a very key word in Facebook and social media. But we have people now that eat out from 15 to 99. How do you get messaging out there? How do you help people get messages that are going to be a positive order? You have to pick a segment, focus on them when you say 622.
Sure, that's a good question. A lot of the content we try to do is relatively generic. At least for my restaurant posts, a lot of what we do, because in order to keep it relatively inexpensive, so at $99 a month is a relatively cheap way to get a post every single day onto your site. So what we do is a lot of that content is relatively automated, so we feel like we come up with enough the content that is broad enough to address a wide range of audience. I mentioned the iPhone as an example. We don't get too much on that side, but it could be, we could be talking again about movies. It could be talking about, like I said, the food holidays. We could be talking about, do you remember when, and in those kind of cases, it's a great day. So we'll pick a certain day and say, hey, this year in 1954 was the launch of this song. Does anybody remember that? And so we may say something related to 50 years ago. We may say something related to 20 years ago. So that kind of bridges that age gap potentially. Then we also talk about stuff that's much more general. It spans the globe as far as age goes. But you'll see certain types of posts will get more engagement than others, and we track that, and then we say, hey, we did a picture and we did a photo caption contest or something like that. Certain types of pictures get a lot more engagement, some don't, so we measure that, track it over time, and then we can adjust whenever we see what happens.
For someone who is not knowledgeable at all about social media, the importance of that engagement is that when somebody likes you, and then that also feeds to their board, and then that goes out. So you start creating this domino effect where your information is spreading and spreading and spreading virally when you are interesting enough online. Is that really the way it works?
Right. So typically so if you've got a business page for your restaurant and somebody likes that page, basically what they're saying is, I'm willing to get information from you, because that's something that they've opted in basically to say they're connected to you. So then what happens, whenever they have their timelines, whether they're on their phone or an iPad or whether they're on their computer or whether whatever they're looking at to be on their Facebook page, your stuff starts to show up in their timeline. As you make more and more comments or shares or likes, that engagement factor, the more you do with a particular brand or particular page, just like you do with a friend. So if one of you is my friend or both of you are my friends, but I'm talking more to you than I am to you by communication through sharing things, liking things, commenting on things, your stuff is more likely to show up maybe than his. And so that balances out, and because Facebook tracks all that and they want to know if you're more engaged with this page than you are with that page, we're going to give you more stuff from this page that you're engaged with. That way they have that understanding. So what happens is, as I'll use the funny photo as an idea. Whenever you share a caption on a particular page and give your input, you're likely going to maybe share that so that other people see, hey, I had this fun caption. And so what you've done, you've maybe liked the page, you've commented on it, and now you've shared it to your page. All those things tells Facebook, hey, you really are engaged with this brand. So next time that brand actually says something on their page, it's more likely for that to show up in your timeline. So then, the more engaged you are with the brand, more likely they are to show up more often in your page.
So this really levels a playing field, because you don't need a huge corporate staff or a ton of money to engage in social media and really get your brand out there in a big way.
Yeah, so a smaller restaurant, 1 or 2 locations, kind of think compete with the Fridays and the Applebee's and the big chains of the world, because typically each of those has their own Facebook page, and so do you. But it levels that playing field. And granted, you may not have as many likes, particularly and potentially, as they do, just because they're a bigger known brand. But within your engagement, if you're engaged with those people that are following you, you're more likely to show up in front of them if they're not engaging very well with this other brand. So it really does level that playing field.
Yesterday in your presentation, I've learned something very interesting, that sometimes I go on LinkedIn or Twitter or something, and I feel like I'm in the middle of the ocean, like saying something. I don't think there's nobody around me hearing me. But now, when you talk about Facebook, you mentioned Facebook is king, and there's a lot of intelligence that you're getting, and more intelligence also is coming from Facebook. Can you share with our listeners why Facebook is so good, and there's intelligence that you can leverage in their future action on Facebook?
Sure. So Facebook offers something called Facebook Insights to anybody who owns and manages a page through admin rights. They have the access to be able to get that type of information. There's a lot of stuff there. Sometimes it can be overwhelming, but the gist of what's there shows how many people like your page, but also how many people are engaged with individual posts, or as a broad range, you can look at the last 30 days and see how many people commented on certain things, how many people were impressed they were actually reached by those posts. So it looks at impression, it looks at reach, it breaks down your audience. So it actually tells you you have 67% females and 33% males. It looks at age range again, and all that helps to drive what we say and how we say it. So again, if you use that example of of your audience is female, you're more likely going to get a better engagement by posting things that are a little more relevant to the female audience. On the opposite side, if you get something that's, about monster trucks and, wrestling or something, it may not go over as well. We tend to find, for the most part, that Facebook in particular does lean a little bit more female as far as the likes from a restaurant standpoint. I don't know that that's a 100% statistic, but at least the folks that we work with, we see a lot more of that. So a lot of the content we typically do, and those more general posts do kind of lean a little more broad, but somewhat positive to the female side.
So talk to you also about times of the day and posting. Is that something now, or is it something that's coming up?
Something that's coming up, and I think there's the potential that they can get better at saying your audience responds better to posts at these particular times. Right now, you can track and you can kind of see based on just doing it yourself, because you can look at those engagement levels, you can see who likes the page, and that kind of stuff, or engages with a comment or a post, but you have to kind of do that manually right now. So you can say, let's do a test every morning for this week. I'm gonna post something at 9:20. Next week I'm gonna try it at 10:20. The next week I'm gonna try it at 1:20 in the afternoon, and you can kind of then see, hey, we got a lot more engagement whenever we post things at 10:20. The idea is potentially that Facebook will come and say, hey, your audience, we know fact because we see when they like, they can say, we actually saw that your posts are better off if we put them at 10:20 without you having to do all that manual test.
What's the ideal number of posts that you should do a week on Facebook? It's very different from, say, Twitter or other types of social media, correct?
Sure. Yeah, Twitter is typically the more often type of thing, which some people get overwhelmed with, and we get that. So that's why we tend to focus on restaurant or focus on Facebook, in particular for restaurants, because Twitter can be overwhelming. I'm not exactly sure what to say, when to say, how to say it. So we try to focus on the Facebook side of things. Quantity-wise, how many times a day? We do one post every day. We do change that up time-wise, so we're not always posting everything, at 11:30 every single day. That you can get lost in the mix. You're only going to get a certain number of people that are on Facebook during that time. So we may post something in the morning, we may post something right after lunch, maybe sometimes we post something right before lunch, something in the evening. So we kind of vary that, but we do try to go every single day. And we got a great case study for a client that's out of Akron that can track and saw where they were before. They were relatively sporadic. They posted every once in a while, but it wasn't really consistent all the time. And from the time when we started posting on a consistent basis, they increased over 3 months, like 300% from engagement and impression level than what they had before, just from being consistent, posting stuff out there on a regular basis, and just being there, as opposed to every once in a while I'll put something, I may get some engagement because I posted something, but then if I don't do it for 3 weeks, then I get nothing. And so it really does. I think the idea with the daily is being consistent, and again, not always saying the same thing. Come out tonight for our buy one get one.
We all talk about millennials and young people being in Facebook and Twitter and everything, and you said something about there's a whole different group that's actually the fastest growing group and the fastest shrinking group at Facebook. And you share with our audience a little bit about that?
Right. So what it is the 1849 or 18 to 29 group is the largest group. So as far as quantity and numbers, it's the biggest group on Facebook, but it happens to be the fastest declining group. So even though it's the most people that are there right now, when you look at trends and where they're going, say 6 months ago or 12 months ago, it's going down faster than the rest of those audiences. It's still a good group, so it's not something that's going away by any means, but I think it does show that younger folks are tending to, they may have been there, may have started there, but they're kind of leaning away, and it's where things like Twitter and Instagram and some of the other things come in, is that they're able to get a little more audience. I think I mentioned in the speech, I've got a 15-year-old daughter who lives on Twitter and Instagram, so she's much less likely to be on Facebook, although she's there, she has an account, she checks every once in a while, she gets tagged on things and stuff, so she checks in, but as far as her day-to-day communication is Twitter and Instagram. So again, just kind of keeping track. If you're really targeting that teenage audience, Facebook I think is still a good tool to be there, but the more and more as that group becomes into adulthood and becomes more of an audience for a restaurant or any business, you might want to start considering some of those other mediums as well.
I think you meant you work all over the country?
We do. We have clients all over, so it's easy to sign up online and get started. So take a look.
What's your website again?
MyRestaurantPosts.com.
And that was Matt White with MyRestaurantPost.com. And Robin, what was the most interesting thing was that he mentioned that 18 to 29 was the fastest growing group, but the fastest shrinking group as well, which is called the millennials, which is very interesting because what happened is these guys, they are the early adopter of new places like Vine and Keek. So if you have, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and all that stuff, and even a Vine account, that doesn't mean you have actually a social media presence if you're not using these platforms correctly.
That was really an interesting interview. And, on follow up with that, we had a Facebook follower ask us how important Facebook is to restaurants for marketing. So we went out and found another expert, Sean Christie, and Sean's going to give us an answer to the importance of Facebook. Here's what he had to say.
My name is Sean Christie with Eat, Drink, Promote, and we spoke on Facebook marketing for restaurants and bars.
Why is Facebook marketing one of the most hotly discussed topics here at this show? Because I must have seen a half a dozen seminars, and everyone's talking about social media. Why should they be talking about social media? And what did you tell the audience yesterday?
Social media is a great outlet, specifically Facebook, just because you have the reach. What I love about Facebook is that it's permission-based marketing, so we're not interrupting people's patterns with our messaging through radio, TV, or traditional print. We're actually meeting them where they're at on Facebook and engaging in a two-way conversation rather than just pushing our marketing message to them. We're relationship building, and we're talking about things that matter to the audience and not just about our own companies.
What about all those restaurant operators out there that go, I keep hearing about this social media. Is it really going to take off? What is it? How do I know how to do it? Where do they find the resources? Where do they go for help?
There are a lot of great blogs out there, so you can simply Google social media for restaurants and find people that are writing about the topic. And there are also lots of firms like eDrink Promote that actually handle that day-to-day management. One of the things that we found in working with restaurant and bar owners is they just don't have the time, even if they have the knowledge. And you have to be consistent on the platform, so keeping your name and your information in front of your audience and engaging with them in that two-way conversation is very important. So it's a very time-consuming process. So I would find an expert in the country specifically in this area, because it is a little bit different conversation than your typical marketing.
We see a lot of owners that want to get into the social media aspect of it, but they have various expectations. You have some owners and some multi-unit operators that want to, they think that you're going to get on Facebook tomorrow and there'll be a line on the door by Friday. Tell us a little bit about what are realistic expectations that owners should expect from their social media campaigns.
Sure, we call that the field of dreams scenario. If you build it, they will come, and that's just not how it works. You have to build trust with your audience. We say they need to know, like, and trust you. So part of that is just finding out what is important to them and asking them questions and then listening. So that could be changing a specific beer handle or tap at your restaurant based on what people tell you socially. We would like to have this particular beer, or have them submit recipes, or have them name one of your new dishes. So if you engage them in social media and you listen to them, then you'll build that trust. And then when you post a special, you have some type of conversion that you're going after, you'll get the response that you want. One of the major problems that we see in this particular industry is that it's always pushing specials and pushing deals, and you'll notice that you're just not getting the feedback from that, because you're constantly pushing information to them rather than asking and engaging. So that's a big piece of it.
I remember at the seminar you talked about engagement a lot. How is it exactly that you do engage with a customer and begin to have this two-way conversation online?
I think if you understand who your customer base is and what they're all about, it's very easy. We spoke yesterday. If you're a sports bar, it makes sense to be talking about things like fantasy football. People are very passionate about things that they're involved with. So if you ask questions like, who did you start, or would you start Eli Manning versus Peyton Manning, for instance, and why? And give them an opportunity to not just click like, but actually get them to comment and then responding back to them. I think that's very important. You can also have some trivia involved with it. We work with a local movie theater chain, and people love to talk about movies. Star Wars, timeless classics. Ask what their favorites are, what they like about this, what do they think about this director. Just ask them specific questions. It still pertains to your industry, but it's not asking them to make a purchase or buy something.
I have a question about, what's a good barometer of how well you're doing online? Is there a certain number of likes for just an independent restaurateur to say, yeah, I kind of have this under control? Or is it a certain amount of time and an amount of consistency that you've been online? Or is it a combination of both?
I think it's a combination of many things. Less than 20% of all organizational and business pages have over 1,000 followers, so it's really hard to get to that. So if you're there, that's a fantastic number to be at. But I don't want people just to focus on gaining an audience. While that's very important, we also want to look at things like positive sentiment, and that's not something that's talked a lot, or the customer service aspect. So does it give you the ability to respond to a not so great service, and are you driving your ratings up through other platforms like Google and Yelp, through your Facebook platform? So driving positive sentiment, I think, is a big piece of that as well. And then just, are people clicking your information? Are they commenting? Are they liking? Are they sharing? So if you're getting those people to do that, I think that is a good way to see it. And also, what are they saying? Are you hearing anything inside of the restaurant? There's some good geolocation tools, meaning people can can check in. That's an option on Facebook, and you have things like Yelp and Foursquare, so you can see if your social media is actually bringing people, if they're engaging, because they have to be on your property to check in. So you can use that as a tool to see if you're moving the needle. And obviously, your sales numbers, are they increasing?
You've talked about a lot of different platforms. There's Facebook, there's Twitter, there's LinkedIn. If you had one choice to be one place, where's that place to be and why?
Facebook is definitely the place. I always say that's the flagship of the social media enterprise. And I like Facebook, one, because you have the reach. 1.1 billion users, and 665 million of those folks are logging on every day for an average of 20 minutes. So we know we've got a lot of people there. They're spending time there, and they're engaging with businesses and organizations. So how do we figure out how to make that work for you, and how do you grab some of their attention? So it's definitely Facebook.
And that was Sean with his company.
Eat, drink, promote.
Drink, promote. And what's amazing, guys, again, social media marketing goes back to the golden rule of engagement. As Sean mentioned, your customer have to know you, like you, trust you, in order to become invested in your brand and engage. Correct, Robin?
That's it. And you also can't forget about the customer service aspect, because you also now have a new need to provide customer service online. Are you responding to your followers? Are you taking the sentiments coming from them and then following through? And if you're an independent operator who simply doesn't have enough time to post on all these different social media platforms, the recommendation keeps coming back to Facebook, Facebook, Facebook. That was 1.1 billion users. That is an amazing
65%
number.
of them log in every day for 20 minutes. That is a lot of time. You sit in front of your computer and look at Facebook for 20 minutes, and you'll see that's a lot of time you can share with people. In some cases, more time than they spend at your restaurant.
You know, and he also said another thing that I thought was important, kind of what's that magic number? It's getting more than 1,000 followers. So I have some advice for our listeners right now. You need to get out there and follow We Sell Restaurants today. We're on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/We Sell Restaurants. You can find us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @SellRestaurants. And of course, we're on LinkedIn. We have a company page and individual pages. We are the Restaurant Brokers, Eric and Robin Gagnon. We try to be present in every method we can online with our powerhouse website, WeSellRestaurants.com, where we believe we are the industry authority and source for information. This is Eric and Robin Gagnon. Check us out on Twitter. Take a moment. We're talking social media. Don't forget to like We Sell Restaurants.